even after 20 years as a prosecutor, Russell Bucklew is still probably one of the most evil people I've ever prosecuted, because he was so bent on hurting people and so bent on killing. This was a case where I called him in closing argument homicidal, Energizer Bunny. He was like the Energizer Bunny. He was filled with hate and you couldn't stop him. In this case, he had attacked Stephanie the first time. He had punched her and gotten away, and she reported that to the police. The next time he came and attacked her and had actually tied her to a bed and put a knife to her throat. There are lots of orders of protection that get issued, and it's the rare one where the man is really homicidal. If a man is going to do like Russell Bucklew did and arm himself with 2 guns and 2 knives and 2 sets of handcuffs and rubber gloves and come after you, that order of protection isn't going to help you. Stephanie went through torture on that last day of Michael Sanders' life. In fact, her whole 2 weeks leading up to that had been torture. But I was really impressed with how strong she was. This was a woman who had been punched in one instance, and then had been tied to a bed with a knife put to her neck in another instance, and then when she went for sanctuary with Michael Sanders, she had to watch in horror as Michael Sanders was shot 4 times and went down on the ground. And then when Michael Sanders was on the ground, Bucklew went up to him, and Bucklew was pointing the gun at him again, and Michael Sanders said, "I'm cool, man, I'm cool, you know, don't shoot me again." And Stephanie got between Michael Sanders and Bucklew, put herself between them, and stopped him from shooting Michael Sanders again. Then he pistol whipped her, handcuffed her, dragged her from the mobile home in front of her own children, in front of Michael Sanders' children, put her in the car. Then while she was handcuffed, he raped her in the back seat of the car out in rural Cape County, and then kept telling her how he was going to go down in a blaze of glory in a shootout with the police. She had to listen to that while they were driving up I-55. And then when there was the shootout with the police, you know, he had 1 gun pointed at her, another gun pointed at the police officer, and he actually shot her while he was being shot and while he was firing at the police officer. But fortunately, when he got shot, his arm went down, and instead of shooting her in the head, he shot her in the leg. One of the troopers then took his shotgun and broke out the passenger window and dragged her out of the car after she was shot. And so then, even after he is shot in the head and lived to be prosecuted, he was still scaring her and her family by calling her mother and saying, "I'm going to get you next." The sociopath is making a cold-blooded decision of what he's doing for his own pleasure, disregarding the hurt to anybody else. And there's no doubt in my mind that Russell Bucklew is a sociopath.